Yes, bada bing, bada boom. The DMC is back in your room. Thank you for joining us today, folks. Today we have a very special guest. But before I bring him on, make sure to like and subscribe. You know the DMC needs all the help you can get. All right? So, without further ado, Punker Mike.
What's up, guys and ladies?
Yeah.
What's up, guys? What's up, Diego? How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good.
Yes. All right, so we got a couple of viewers, but it's a little late. They're coming.
Still trickling.
It's gonna take a while. So why don't you introduce yourself to the people that are new to the internet?
People that are new to the internet, huh? It's all right. I'm kind of a caveman. Every time I struggle to get on these streams. So what's up? I'm Punker Mike, toy photographer, prop builder, diorama maker, art enthusiast. I got a YouTube channel, Punker Mike. Been at it for a little bit. Not as consistent as I want to be. We'll get there eventually. Also on Instagram, Punker_Mike, and that's where I mainly post a lot of my artwork, whether it's work in progress for dioramas, props, toy photography, little videos, stuff like that. Best way to usually keep up with me is Instagram. I try to be active. It's a little easier to be active on that.
Yes. I see Star Marvel 76 joined in. Now this guy had a couple of questions for you. I'm glad he joined in because he had a question for you. He's a fan.
Nice.
And he wants to know where you've been at. Why aren't you making any new videos?
I know. I think it's almost been a year. It could have been a year. I have so much footage I need to edit, but I just need to. I'm just missing a bunch of things to plug in, but I'm coming back. It just sucks just because I put up a video recently on Instagram, just like a little 2-minute video. And even those little 2-minute videos take so long to do, just like editing. And but I'll get back. I'll get back. Don't worry. I'm still here. I'm still alive. I get comments all the time. People checking in on me, making sure I'm still alive. I'm still here.
The stop motion stuff is the best. That's why I think a lot of people like that stop motion stuff. Your little commercials that you do, those wrestling commercials, those are dope.
So I've been leaning. That's how I got really into toy photography is learning. I wanted to learn how to build better sets. And I somehow came across toy photography in the process. But that's where I've always wanted to be at, is doing like stop motions and little videos like that. That's something I've done since I was younger. And as I got older, just wanted to keep doing that, or finding easier ways or more like professional to make it look a little more professional, a little cleaner. So I'm always working on that stuff behind the scenes. Like I have so many little videos that I haven't put out just because I don't think it's the right time, or just because it's a little rough. And I'm like, I'm going to redo that, because I'm always researching and learning and trying to teach myself how to do stuff. I've always been like that too, since I was younger, just always trying to learn and teach myself. And then like, I'll get to a certain point and then I'll learn a new trick. And I'm like, oh man, I need to redo that, knowing what I know now, kind of, so I'm always kind of in that cycle. But I got a bunch of stuff cooking. So
yeah, what's up? Say what's up to Laser Pants, KJ Smith, Michael Wistman, and Smash Labs. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Nice.
I
Boys.
was thinking the other day too, knowing that you were going to be on, I was like, when was the first time like I saw Punker Mike? When was that?
I know the first time I saw you, I was in line at the Bandai Tamashii Nations was having a warehouse sale. And I don't even know what city that's in, but they had the warehouse sale.
Was it Anaheim? Was it Anaheim?
Yeah, somewhere close to Anaheim. It was a total shit show, but I had to wait in line for 3 hours basically for like scraps. But I remember
there was nothing there.
There was nothing there.
Good. There was nothing there. It was on model kits.
I bought like something out of spite. Like I bought like this little Frieza thing out of spite.
I almost did too.
And then, but I had been waiting in line, and this was when I think the first Photo Combat, ACBA Photo Combat maybe had just kicked off or just finished. So I was barely starting to kind of meet some people in the toy community. And I had seen you. I don't know how I know what you look like, but I remember you were walking with some dude. I'm like, oh, I think that's DMC. And I was like, I should let him cut. But then you walk back, and then the line I was like so far up already. The line was so back. And I'm just like, man, I don't really want to go up to like some random stranger, but hey man, you want to cut? even though I should have. That was the move. But
I remember you
out.
messaged me later. Like, yeah, dude, I saw you. I'm like, oh, you should have let me cut.
Yeah, that was so trash. That's like they do that every once in a while. That the Band-Aid sale, I'm like, never again. My wife was so mad.
I think I went to one more, and it was like a little bit more organized, but still, it was like trash. It was hours to wait in line, and then when you get in there, there's nothing except model kits or like figures that are $100, $200 that you have no desire to buy. So,
it's like the stuff, the Bluefin sales online is way better. Like I've gotten so much stuff. Like I bought stuff just because it was like so cheap. Just like why not?
They didn't even have any figure arts or anything like we would actually like. I think it was just all their trash.
Yeah, it was like random stuff, like older stuff that like some of like that weirder articulation. I don't know. It was some weird stuff. They had some stuff, but it was like I remember when I went, they had like some common stuff that I'm like, I don't know. It was the worst.
What up, High School Creations? Yeah. Want to check out Punker Mike? But I think we finally met. Was it at Wizard World or something like that? Was it at a con? I think.
I've never been to Wizard World, so it had to be
LA. It was LA Comic Con or something.
Stan Lee's LA Comic Con, Kamikaze Expo, whatever the hell the name was. Yeah. I think it was one of the because I started going to once they started doing those back in like 2013 or whatever or 12. Me and my wife started going to those because those are a little because at the time it was a little small. It was like a smaller convention, so it was a little more manageable than going to like trying to meet up at SDCC or something.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, that was probably it.
And then I was thinking, when was the first time I saw Punker's Mike's stuff? And the picture that I always remember, and I think it was like the first picture. I don't know if it was the first picture he posted, but it was that punk guy with the green mohawk.
Oh, and
he had a fig, and he was like, "Come up."
Yeah.
Or something like that. And I always think of that picture because that was like the first time I actually saw like a little prop action figure. And I think I have to give you the props that a lot of the stuff that you've made was like the first time I ever seen it. So I think you were like the first person to make like the arcade cabinets, like little figures, like little action figures in the on card. I was just like, dude, where is this guy coming up with this?
Yeah, I got flooded when I was coming up with stuff like that because I'd come up with like a prop and then I'd be like, oh, cool, I'm going to make I came actually with a shot in mind and I'm like, I got to make that prop. And then it kind of coincided. So I'd have a shot in mind, make the prop, and then I'd get a video out of it too. So it's kind of like a way to build up YouTube a little bit because I was started on YouTube. Like I didn't even know how to use a camera. I was basically doing like the tutorial. I think some early videos. I was even doing like a couple toy reviews and stuff. Basically trying to teach myself how to use the camera so that way I'd be better at photography, and that way I'd be better once I start doing like more kind of project videos and stuff because I never used a DSLR. When I first started, I was using my wife's like point and shoot camera. But yeah, that come up one, it was like those WWE like builder wrestler.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can build like a punk dude. So I had bought it, and then I had painted like a Misfit shirt, and then I had made a couple of card action figures, and then I don't even think I had a printer, so I like was going through Toys R Us catalogs and cutting out like the Toys R Us logo and like putting it on like poster board and like not even pink foam. I don't even think I knew about pink foam yet. I was using like poster board and shit.
Oh damn! And what was that photo for? Was that just a random photo, or was that
just a random photo? You know, I had to have a printer or I used somebody's printer because I printed out the come up. I think I had made the come up in paint, and I printed it out, and it was like super fucking grainy. Yeah, it was just I think it was just some random shot just for the ACBA page.
Look at that. Star Mama says that he's made comics and couches and cereal boxes because of you. That's dope.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I remember in those arcade cabinets too. Because I don't think anybody was making arcade cabinets at the time when you made some.
I think the first time I did it was that Photo Combat. That was like when I was new to the community. I had made some like really bootleg ones before, where the early props I made before I was even like on the internet, like before, because I didn't have when I moved out of my parents' house. I didn't have a cell phone or a computer. I was just doing my own fucking thing, and like sometimes I'd borrow
The pump wet.
I would borrow my girlfriend's, my wife now, but it was my girlfriend at the time. The only thing I bought was an SD card, and I'd borrow her camera, and I would take photos, or I'd even do stop motion. I'd even have a fucking tripod, dude. I ghetto rigged a tripod with some wood, and I was like, I'm just gonna load up all this stuff on this SD card, and when I eventually get a computer, like I'll do my stuff with it. So I have a bunch of stop motions where it's like it's cool and like the idea is like really cool and stuff. But like since I didn't have a tripod, it's like so crazy shaky. It's not too bad, but it's for me, like I show other people and they bust up. But I'm like, to me, I'm just like, oh man, that's so fucking shaky compared to like if I had like a remote with a tripod. Yeah. But I was doing like, and at the time I really didn't, because I had so much different. I mean, I was collecting legends. I had older stuff. I had like turtles. So I would just build props for like specific figures or specific like displays I had. So like the first arcade cabinets were more scaled towards like Ninja Turtle, like the Playmates. And I think around that time they had they did Ninja Turtles again. Remember when they came out with those ones that were pretty decently articulated?
Oh, okay, they're cartoon ones. They were like
like the cartoon ones. They had actually like a lot of good figures in that line. Can't remember what year that was, but it was around that time.
I think Rocksteady and Bebop still hold up. It was that line, right?
No, that's the Playmates like 6-inch line. I'm talking about like the little kid line for the cartoon.
Oh yeah.
So that was like early. That was like 2010 or 11 or 12 maybe, or 2013.
The new cartoon that was on Nickelodeon when they started calling it Nickelodeon's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, and the turtle design, and that was like the one. I think the stories were good. I just can't mess with the animation, but I'm pretty sure the stories were pretty like cool. Comic accurate. They were like pretty true to the comics, but I just couldn't get behind the animation. I had a hard time watching it. But the story seemed really cool because it seemed like the little bit I did watch came from like the old like Eastman and Laird like Mirage kind of comics.
10-piece of what? I don't know. High School's Creations asking about a 10-piece.
10-piece nugget? Some crispy boys?
Maybe you want some nuggies.
Want some nugs, huh?
What is that? That pizza dude was an awesome custom too, says Star Marvel.
Oh yeah. Pizza Face, the psychotic pizza chef. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was dope.
I was actually thinking about making another one, but not Pizza Face, like a different character that I've been kind of like coming up with. Just like modifying the head a little bit. I don't know. I was actually kind of sketching it out today, but I kind of want to make another one because I like that. I like that head on the fat bastard body.
Yeah.
So I kind of was thinking about I could do something. Yeah, you'll see that in 10 years from now.
That is dope. There's too many good ideas from Punker Mike.
Too many, bro. If we had 36-hour days, I'd be doing so much more.
Me too.
Make it happen, bro. That's
why I can't make anything because I don't have enough hours in the day.
Yep. I wish I did.
Mike, that's where I got a lot of, just like you, that's where I got a lot of inspiration to make stuff was like when we're doing contests and stuff like that. You're like, oh, wait, I need to make a prop for this, or I need this will make this shot look cool. Let me make it. And, because they don't have what you want. So you're like, fuck it, let me just make it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of the ideas came from, just out of necessity. Like, shit, I need a prop. Let me make it.
I think your first shot I seen was the bullseye beer pong. Yeah, that was like the first one I remember because it's funny because the first thing I noticed was the dial because I had kind of made when I was younger, I used to draw all my buildings like that. Like interior, just all crusty with the exposed like boards. Even though like in California, I don't know if at least every house I've built in, they don't have like the boards like that. But I used to just see that in comics and I used to think that was so cool. So I used to draw like that. So when I was building, like I started building some dials, I was trying to do that. And I seen yours was like so clean with like, you had that like cracked paint even. And I was like, oh man, that's so sick. And then of course the shot where bullseye fucking playing beer pong. And then when you told me the cups, because I was like, man, those cups are so clean. And you're like, those are just the tips from tacky glue. And I'm like, man, I've been throwing those away. I was like, oh, those are like the perfect red cup if you painted it red.
Yeah. Like, I don't even know how I came up with that idea for beer pong. Like, I don't even know where I came up with it. And that dial, I don't know. I just made it just because I wanted like some beat up like area. I figured like that's what bad guys would be hanging out with in some
Universal,
like house. You know what I mean? And for the longest time I was like, oh, I need to figure out where to get cups, because once I got the idea, I was like, where the hell am I going to get cups at? So I started checking out YouTube, and I started watching all the videos for all those ladies that do miniatures.
Yeah.
So all these old ladies, I'm watching all these old lady videos, and then one of them came out with, oh, look, you can make little red cup, little solo cups out of the tips. And I was like, what the hell? So I went to Walmart and I took all the tips off the glue, and I was like, boom, there we go.
Dang, you were stealing LeBron heads before stealing LeBron heads was cool, bro. Yeah. With tacky glue.
I was always ahead of the game.
Yeah, those little old ladies, bro, doing the miniatures. They'll teach you some shit, bro. Even just anything, bro. Just like arts and crafts.
Yeah.
That shit's like.
Yeah, sometimes I'll watch that stuff and I'm like, these ladies have a lot of free time on their hands.
years of crafting, dude.
Yeah.
Passing it down.
I remember that's where I got the idea. I think it was those ladies too, where I got the idea for the cracked paint, because I know I wanted that cracked paint look, but I was like, how do I get that? And then one of them was like, oh, they actually make a paint specifically for that. So you have to do a base coat of what color you want. Then you put that paint over it, and then another paint over it, and it'll start cracking that paint. And I was like, God, that's so easy.
Yeah, I actually went and bought some of that paint, or I might have, I think I might have got it like at an estate sale or like a thrift store where they had a bunch of paint, and I bought the bag specifically because they had a couple of those. Because sometimes, you go to like the thrift store, like an estate sale, they'll just have like a Ziploc bag full of apple barrel paint.
Yeah.
And I was like, some of it's probably dried up. And I seen a couple of those cracked ones, and I always thought about, I'm going to use that shit one day. I still have never used it.
I think that was the only time I've used it.
It's definitely a cool technique that I don't know why I haven't used it. Because I have a couple of the bottles.
Crackle Media, yep. There's another way to do it that I've been watching other people do it. So I've been wanting to try that way to make cracked paint. So maybe eventually I'll do it. It's with it's like with hairspray.
Okay.
So I'm like, one of these days, when I get around to it,
yeah,
I'll try that out. Because that's cool technique. Is doing that cracked paint is like a really cool technique if you pull it off.
Yeah, for sure.
My TV, okay, what's that? So Going Geek TV is here.
Nice. That's Bjorn, right?
Is it? I don't know. I think so. I don't know. I'm not sure. I get confused with everybody because sometimes people have different names on Instagram than on YouTube, than on sometimes what they have on Facebook. So I'm like, I get confused all the time. Who's who?
Yeah, I get the same way.
So you got to keep your brand on all media, okay? That's why the DMC is everywhere. Jeez. But anyways. So when are you going to make more videos?
Well, recently I'm redoing my room. So I'm trying to make it a little more organized. And now that I'm just making it more organized. So I'm getting everything, get my little studio. And once I kind of finish, then it's going to be a lot easier to kind of just slide in here when I can, bang out some stuff.
Nice. That's why it's nice having a dedicated area because it's easy for you to get in and out. Like if you want to shot real quick or you want to make something real quick, you have that area versus having to move a bunch of shit around, which I have to do all the time, is move a bunch of shit around just so I can sit down and make this and do that. But having a dedicated area is it's a nice advantage. Yeah,
it's before, like when, because I moved around a bunch before I lived here, just like having to set up like on a balcony or something. And like I was actually talking to Adam today about that. Just like I used to like spray paint or do stuff like on the balcony, and there's so much overspray all over the stucco. Like I didn't notice until one time I like cleaned it really good, and I was like, holy shit, there's overspray everywhere. Like, and I thought I was all good because I made like this box and I had this tray. So I was like, oh, cool. I made like a spray. Not even. I fucked that balcony up.
Whoops. Oh my gosh. There's a video that I think is not a year old. It's like maybe 6 months old. That maybe not a lot of people have seen. But I think you put it up on your YouTube. It's that kayfabe one that you did. That wrestling commercial one.
Oh, the wrestling commercial. Yeah. See, those are fun. I love doing those ones.
Like those, that was dope. I don't know if people seen that one. Did you post it on YouTube, that one? Or was it just in that group?
I might have. Well, I definitely have it on my Instagram because some people, I get a bunch of people commenting it on still, and sometimes like Ed or Jim, because Ed he reposts stuff every once in a while, like shine stuff like on people doing fan art or just some older stuff. He's got marketing, especially like for himself and his brand, like really good because he posts like every day, even if hold on, what the fuck, even if it's just kind of like posting some older like comic stuff or whatever. But he's always posting every day because I mean you get new, especially guys with like big followings, and I mean a couple months go by, you get like a bunch of new people that didn't see that. So every once in a while he'll repost that video and then I'll get like a bunch of traffic my way. But those like old school wrestling commercials or just old school toy commercials, that's stuff I've been wanting to do. Like I have so many scripts written out. They're so fun.
Yeah, those are dope. And then who is Jim? For the people at home that don't know.
So Jim Rugg, he's a comic book artist based out of Pittsburgh. He does a show with Ed Piskor. They're like a tag team. Ed Piskor, also another comic book artist out of Pittsburgh. They do Cartoonist Kayfabe, which is probably one of my favorite, well, it definitely is my favorite, like comic book kind of YouTube series where they do interviews with legends like Jaime Hernandez, Todd McFarlane. I mean, you name it. They get sit down interviews or like Zoom interviews with these guys. And then they cover not just like mainstream comics, but just like obscure. I mean, they do mainstream, but obscure. I mean, they do so much cool stuff and they're constantly putting out videos and constantly working on comics. Like they're both always drawing comics. They're always both having these crazy projects and they're always still like filming. So I don't know how they're able to do all that, but their YouTube channel is definitely entertaining. And like over the years they've grown where they're posting like so much content where like I'm so behind. Before, like I'd be on every video, even if it's something I don't really care about. They'd always at least have a little bit of insight, or it's just, good background noise too. Cause I'm always looking, I mean, you can only listen to music so much. Sometimes you got to listen to something else like podcasts or like videos to help distract you.
Star Marvel wants to know what's the YouTube. It's Cartoonist Kayfabe.
Yeah, Cartoonist Kayfabe. I said everything but the name. Cartoonist Kayfabe.
It's Cartoonist Kayfabe on Facebook too. That they have their own group. That Punker Mike turned me on because I'm not that much of a fan of Piskor's art style. He's got a more like I'd say like independent, I guess. Kind of style. Sure. You know what I mean? More like underground style, which I've always liked the more polished like McFarlane and like Jim Lee style versus like underground style. But when Punker Mike turned me on to it, I was like, let me check this out. And like, yeah, you could tell these guys like love comics, not just like Marvel comics or DC comics, just like comics in general, because they'll focus on stuff that I haven't even thought about in like years, and they'll bring out, oh, check out this title from Eclipse, check out this title from, just obscure stuff that you're like, what the hell is this? But it's all just comics, the love of comics. They'll do what I like videos too is when they go over those old issues of Wizard. Those are fun. I almost thought about doing the same thing, like doing a show where I go over those old issues, because like you look at them now and you're like, dude, these are so dumb. Like, like
back in the day, that's all you had.
Like, why did I buy this? Like, when Defiant came out, like I was buying a bunch of those. Valiant, when they were doing their stuff, and I had bought all those, and I'm like, oh man, these are gonna be worth so much money. and now they're just like toilet paper. You know what I mean? But they go over all that stuff, and it's nice to see like people not only just talk about Marvel all the time, or they're talking about DC all the time. It's just talking about comics all the time. And that's what's nice about their show and about their group is a lot of the people in that group don't post Marvel. They don't post DC. They don't even post Image. It's everything but the big companies, which is nice.
Yeah. And you get like some cool, just like little fun facts and stuff, about like artists or like how this came about, or like, you find some like random, like just random artwork or something like a feature, like in like a smaller publication before they got big. So it's cool to see. And the Facebook group's called Cartoonist Kayfabe Ringside Seats.
Yeah.
And it's the community's crazy too, because they're always doing projects. So I mean, I've worked on a couple different projects where we did Wizard the magazine. So it's basically a spoof or kind of like a tribute to Wizard magazine, and it's got, you know, all these guys that are comic creators or artists or just fans contributing either articles, comics, pinup pages, basically whatever you'd see in a Wizard, but just through this community. Like I did a bunch of fake ads. I did one. I do a series because they're coming out with issue 2, I think, sometime by the end of the year, where I kind of do like the old school. Wizard had it was toying around in hometown here, or homemade heroes and toying around, and I kind of combined into the two, and I call it fucking around or fucking with figures with Punker Mike, and I kind of just showcase some customs from like the community. So like I'll show like a couple of mine, or like one of mine. The first issue I showed like Craig Warwick, Glenn Webb, me, Michael Wisman, Chris Cerda, Charles Chop. This next one I'm doing all Ninja Turtles, so a bunch of Ninja Turtle customizers from like some of the dudes that I chop it up with, like on Instagram and stuff. And it's kind of cool because people like that stuff, even though they're hardcore comic heads. I mean, just that nostalgia or kind of seeing that peek into like a kind of an adjacent lane, because like the toy community and comics, I feel like go so hand in hand, you know. So it's kind of cool. People, even though they're only into comics and maybe don't mess with figures, they can respect it, or it's like, oh, that's cool, or they'll hit me up, ask me stuff about it. And then even I did cartridge art, because I do that sometimes too. I'll make like Nintendo cartridges, or I'll get Game Boy shells and I'll do artwork on them and stuff. But one of the dudes hit me up, Eli. He's kind of the front runner. He's kind of like the editor. He kind of helps organize like the chaos to get all these projects out. He hit me up to do the label art for. He found some dude that knows how to hack NES ROMs, and he did Super Mario Brothers, but made it all Cartoonist Kayfabe theme. So instead of Mario, it's Ed. Instead of like a mushroom, it's an X-Men symbol. Instead of like, I mean, it's just everything like comic. He was able to like hack the sprite somehow. I mean, that's some other level shit. So like I got to contribute just the artwork for the label of the cartridge. But when they sent me that, I was like, how the fuck did he even do? Like, this is sick, because it's just like Super Mario, but like comic. Like, it's sick.
Yeah, that's tight. You know, and thanks to Punker Mike, you know, speaking of his Wizard magazine, they also put together Image Grand Disaster, which was a love letter to Image Comics in general. And the DMC had his first published work in there. I contributed a page to that, and it turned out to be a pretty thick trade with just a bunch of short stories about Image characters. So that was kind of fun to do. Hopefully they do another one, and maybe the DMC will do another page or so.
Yeah. I mean, it's just stuff like that's fun, man. Get you back into, kind of light a fire into your ass to kind of do some of the stuff that you've been wanting to do, but maybe you have all these ideas and this energy, but you don't know where to put it. And then you kind of get this project right here where you got a deadline. So you're like, all right, let's do it. And it's kind of, those projects are fun, man. I'm always looking for little projects like that.
Let's see. Going Geek TV says comics are cool, but what are your thoughts on manga, DMC? Oh, everybody knows I don't like manga. No, I'm just kidding. I know I'm just not that. I'm not big of a fan of manga. Like I like characters. Like I'll watch probably more anime than manga. I just never got into it, especially reading. Instead of reading, you know, left to right, you got to read right to left, which was just too much work for me. But my daughter has gotten into manga, so you know, maybe I'll start reading those. Manga, it's manga, whatever.
When you first said manga, I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? I haven't heard someone say manga in forever.
No, I'm not here to hurt anyone. All right, comics are comics. So whether it's from East or West, you know, I love comics in general. So it doesn't matter, you know, where they're from, really. Like, I love comics. I just really haven't got into it. Yeah, I've always been like a superhero guy. So, you know, anything other than superheroes doesn't really grab my attention. It's got to be something super, super sick for me to get into it, because I just love superheroes. Sorry, but I'm not here to hurt anyone.
I fucks with manga tough. Yeah, that shit. I just sometimes like I'll even buy like little trades or whatever in Japanese just to look at the artwork, because there's like some spots like around here that they'll, you know, be like a couple bucks or whatever. You know, there's some stuff that hasn't been translated into like American English or whatever. It's just only in Japanese, but the artwork's just so cool that like I even do that with American comics. Sometimes I won't even read. I'll pick up books and I won't even read them for a while, but I just like the artwork so much that like you could just like kind of just study the artwork.
Going Geek is recommending My Hero, which coincidentally I have been watching the anime and my daughter likes the manga. So I bought her volume 1 and 2, which I'll probably read. And since she'll bug me, I'll probably get all the volumes for her. So then after she reads them, I'll probably read them. So there you go. But
yeah,
I do watch anime. My Hero's
Wisman's been trying to get me to like read and watch My Hero Academia.
Dude, no, it's dope. Like
Yeah.
after the first, like it started off like I think a little slow for me. But then when you really you start getting into the story, you see where it's going. You're like, oh, okay, all right, I see. And then yeah, it's almost like X-Men in a way because it's all like a classroom setting. They go to school to learn how to use their powers. So it's a X-Men in a way, with all these little teenagers trying to figure out how to work their powers. House blessed. Hail to help Rectangular pick up some dial work from DSC in person. Oh, were you there? I was trying to like.
Is that Wisman saying that?
Yeah, I was like, did you see that? Oh my
God. I think Wisman. I think Todd Todd scooped up a dial piece from you.
Yeah.
And from
Flash.
Yeah, Flash. And then I think he just like stopped at Westminster.
Totally.
Because it's a long drive, you know. Because Westman he lives in like in a good spot where you could kind of just stop and kick it.
I know. I'm gonna have Wistman on one day so he can just talk about that dial.
It's like the outside of the dojo one, right?
Yeah, that one was pretty fun. That one took me a little while, but that was a fun build. Actually, the first time I made like a moving part where I had a sliding door to be part of it. So
nice.
that was kind of fun to try to figure out how to make a sliding door and not have it fall over. Yeah, Flash made he made a sci-fi one. My Hero is superior to X-Men in a lot of aspects. Plastic Thunder says. Cheney 180 better not hear that. I was like, if you're in the Toy Migos, he's gonna kick you out for saying that. Man. Are you working on anything right now? Like right now that you're gonna show to the world soon? Or no?
Well, I'm always wrapping stuff up. Like sometimes I'll get an idea where it's not just putting it on paper, like and sketching it out. It's not good enough. I have to start it and then I'll get back to it. So I have a bunch of those. I even had to buy bins, like just enough to hold like mainly like customs or like props. So I can have those like good to go. But yeah, I got a bunch of those, man. But no, I got a bunch of stuff coming up, man. Like I said, once I get my work area a little bit more cleaned up and I kind of finish like my little studio right here, and I got some stuff going in the garage too, where I'm actually like building some legitimate stuff. So like when I'm painting or casting and stuff, I have like a little bit better where I can just get in there, assembly line that shit and get out instead of like having to set up and take down. I'm gonna be able to start getting a lot more stuff. But I mean, I got some customs coming up, dios. Not really for dios right now. Unless
Dios are
playing out. And then I'm always working on props. I'm always, I got a bunch of stuff to like sculpt and cast and paint and mod, and like sometimes I'll buy stuff like prefabricated stuff that I know I can take pieces from or repaint or weather. So I got a bunch of stuff like that that's coming down the pipeline.
I was thinking about speaking of props right now. I was thinking, I'm like, man, I haven't made any props like in a long time for like anything. If I make a prop, it's usually to go with the dio or something.
Mm-hmm.
But now with 3D printers, like, what do you think about that? Now it's like, do I even need to make a prop anymore when some guy can just fucking 3D print it? You know what
Well,
I mean?
yeah, I feel like I mean I'm super hyped on 3D printers because it's so cool to see what you can get. Like even if you go like on Etsy, like you can get somebody 3D printed, like he'll sell you a Johnny 5 from Short Circuits that's all 3D printed and you just assemble it. I'm like, dude, that's fucking rad. Or just like, I mean, everything else. I mean, like people could do head sculpts and props. And I mean, just look at Craig Warwick's recent video. I mean, he uses 3D printer and 3D printed so much cool shit out of that. Like, that's so rad. So I definitely want to get into 3D printing. I'm slowly kind of dipping my toe into everything. Like, I'm trying basically want to learn and try like everything I can. But I think I'm going to hold off a little longer on the 3D printing because I feel like every time I turn around, I see someone coming out with or using like a machine that's cleaner and, more affordable. So I feel like if I hold out, because I was going to jump initially, like when those first came out but just kind of seeing like how they had like the lined textured and you have to like sand all that shit. I wasn't a fan of that because I'm like, I want to get the thing so I can do less work instead of having to like wait forever for it and then having to do work. So
sand it. Now I gotta sand it down.
Because I've gotten a bunch of those, like people, like some of my friends had hit me up before to like paint them. And although the sculpts were nice, you could just see that texture. And I'm like, man, like, just sand all this shit. And especially like little stuff like sneakers or something. Someone was doing sneakers for a while. I had to sand all that shit. And I was like, man, I hate sanding, bro. I'm going to have like nerve damage and like arthritis from sanding. Like, I hate it. I fucking hate it. But I mean, that's part of customs. That's part of like everything is sanding. But I fucking hate it.
Like I was thinking about that too. Like at the beginning when the 3D printers first came out, I was like, dude, I know this. I'm like, this is gonna be a game changer right here. But it was like, it was like $1,000 for like the first one or something like that. And I was pricey. Like, yeah, I was like, dude, I don't want to fucking spend $1,000 on this shit right now. You know what I mean? And now they're becoming a little bit more cheaper and actually a little bit more better, like you said. Like I still see guys 3D printing and they got those lines on whatever they're making, and I was like, dude, that doesn't look that great. You know what I mean? And they'll paint. Obviously, they skip the step where you sand it because it's all painted up and you can still see the lines. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, shoot, but I'd just rather make it by hand then if I'm going to see all these line work.
What my initial reaction was when I was painting some of those was like the move would to be sculpt it, because I mean sculpting by hand, I mean I figure sculpting on the computer it'd be a little bit easier, like less trial and error or whatever, especially like if you're good with computers. So I figure like, or if you have the file, like they have like all these files that you could buy or whatever. I thought the move, like my initial reaction was, oh, print something, sand it and clean it up and then just cast that.
There you go.
Because I'm assuming that casting supplies like resin and stuff is cheaper than that filament they use. I'm assuming that filament, and then plus you have to wait. I mean, depending on what kind of printer you have, I feel like those take like a while to print. But I'm seeing some now that look just like cast. Yeah. Like I don't know. Like I see guys on Instagram. I don't know what kind. Like I'm pretty caveman when it comes to like the names and everything, but just kind of like I follow a lot of artists for like inspiration and stuff. And if I ever like decide to buy something, but I mean, I see a lot of guys making like really cool stuff that doesn't have the lines. It looks just like a straight up cast.
Yep. Yeah, those look really nice. I thought about doing, because Smashlight was kind of telling me, he's like, oh, you should do, but like digital sculpting, for head sculpts to get the ZBrush or whatever. And I was like, fuck, another thing I got to learn to do, I'm like, I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I'll think about it. Cause I have ideas for head sculpts, like drawings. I have like tons and tons of drawings of like figures or my own characters. And I was like, man, that'd be cool to have like head sculpts of them. But to learn another thing, I'm like,
yeah, see, ZBrush is another thing I want to dip my toe into. I definitely want to try that too. So that's definitely something I want to try as well. And then shout out to Smash Lab, because he actually sent me when I made a bunch of arcade cabinets semi recently, and he had 3D printed the little coin doors.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he was able to do it really smooth, where there was no lines or nothing. They were pretty thin. They were like really thin, and I was able to. So he sent me a bunch of those, and I was able to cast those, and they actually came out really, really good.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I know he got one of the newer models that that are just sweet. Yeah, you don't see nothing.
So shout out to Smashwing for sure.
Oh, that's tight. That's tight. Because yeah, if I did that, if I couldn't get it right on the first few tries, I know I'd probably give up. Because I'm like, this head looks so wonky, and I'd just be like, just throw everything away. I'd be like, nah, I'm over this now. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do it. There's so many other people that do it better already. So I'm like, why am I even gonna do it? I'm like, there's like all these guys that can do it better, and they're gonna be like, oh, nice one, DMC. That guy looks a little like fucking the guy from the Goonies.
He's got all sloth head and misaligned eyes.
You know? So I'm like,
hey man, I'll take a good sloth head, bro.
I was like, I don't want to embarrass myself. You know? Ooh, look at that. We're almost at an hour.
Oh shit.
Damn. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. What about you, bro? Any projects, anything you're wrapping up or getting started on, or?
I've always got projects that I'm in the middle of. Always.
Yeah, there's always something that needs to get done.
They just never get completed. Like, I'm always working on dioramas that never get finished. So I need to finish them because they're going to Smash Lab and they're going to Cheney 180.
Nice.
Which I think for Cheney's, I don't think there's something you've probably never seen before.
Oh, that's right. You were teasing, or he was teasing about it not too long ago. Got me excited, especially after seeing that one like that like ship part where it was like the wheel and like that was sick, bro. That shit was like straight out of like Peter Pan, like Captain Hook shit, bro. That shit looks sick.
Yeah, I think I was watching Pirates of the Caribbean too much, and then I was like, fuck, I want my own boat. I want my own boat.
It was funny because when I seen that, I was like, dude, I want that. And I was just like, I don't even have anything that I could use that for. But I was like, I still fucking want it, dude. That shit looks so clean. I mean, I guess I knew eventually someone would do Princess Bride figures. So I'd be like, yeah, maybe. The guy could just be like a display piece for like one scene of the movie. But I was like, I don't care, man. That shit looks sick, bro. I don't even know what Cheney's going to do with it, but that shit looks sick.
He's got his he uses it for One Piece, for his One Piece.
Oh, figure. That's right.
Yeah, he uses it for One Piece. So I was like, oh, dude, that's perfect because there's only so many Pirates of the Caribbean figures. There's maybe like Jack Sparrow, maybe one other guy that you could do.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has a ton of One Piece figures, and I was like, oh, dude, yeah, it's perfect for that.
I didn't even think about that.
So yeah, that one was. I don't even know how I just wanted to build a boat. I don't know why. I was like, because you see everybody always making like cities or like building, some type of building shit. So I'm like, dude, let's make something different, something people haven't seen before. So I just got out with that. Then with Cheney's idea, he showed me a picture and he's like, hey, can you make that? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm like, sure, whatever. So it's like I don't think some people haven't really seen it before, so I think that'll be exciting to see people's reactions on that. Smash Labs is getting buildings. Hopefully, I put my little spin on it so it doesn't look like everybody else's buildings that you see.
Yeah,
I'm trying to do more like LA based buildings, so you're not going to see like really a lot of brickwork.
Mm-hmm.
Where I feel like the brickwork is more like kind of like East Coast, kind of like New York.
Yeah, you can't have bricks in LA, bro. We get earthquakes.
Yeah, so ours is just, it's just like a plain walls. You know what I mean?
It's dirty.
Yeah, they're just like dirty plain walls. So like I'm just trying to do more LA based because since we're West Coast, I was like, dude, we need to do. When we were talking about it, I was like, let's do West Coast buildings versus. I was like, yeah, they look cool, with all the brickwork and all that. But I'm like, yeah, you see that all the time, though. I'm like, we gotta do West Coast. We gotta represent West.
Yeah, see that. I like that idea too, just because you have to. have to think outside the box and those minute details, that the little things here and there that when you're doing it, you're like, I don't know if people are even going to notice this unless you see it in hand, but it's like those kind of add up to like a bigger picture, you know, those little tiny details to make it look realistic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun instead of just doing like kind of the brick, is doing something, you know, that doesn't have maybe as much depth, but you have to figure out the little things to make it pop.
Yeah, like this one that, like, I teased it a little bit on Instagram. It's kind of like, it's I almost did it to scale, where, you know, I have a 6-inch figure, and it's probably like almost 10 times bigger than him, so it's almost to scale in a way. You know, I was like, why did I make this so big? I was like, why is this so big? You know, but if they're plain walls, so now the challenge is the painting part, and then trying to find some kind of like detail or something to make it look more than just like a plain wall.
Yeah.
You know?
You ever mess with powdered pigment?
No, but I wanted to. I just bought a palette of it.
Nice.
At Hobby Lobby.
Okay.
I saw it, and I was like, I've always wanted this.
Dude, game changer.
It's like the rusty. It's for like rust effect.
Nice.
So it's got some blacks, mostly like oranges and browns. It's a rust effect one. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, I've always wanted this, because I know a lot of guys back in the day would use that for custom figures.
Yeah.
Pigment.
Yep.
You know, more of a weathered look. Because I would look at it and I was like, bro, I'm like, why does this guy look so fucking dirty?
Yeah.
And they're like, powdered pigment. And I'm like, what's that? It's like makeup. I'm like,
dude,
what?
So I went to Five Below, which is like, I'm not sure if you guys have that.
Oh, dude, yeah, there's one like down the street from my house. They just opened.
So for $5, I just got like this little palette.
Okay.
So one thing you want to look for with makeup is my wife help me pick it out, because
this is a pro tip, everyone. Listen, this is a pro tip right now.
So boom, you just got like kind of just, I mean, obviously you could tell I use black a lot, and then you got like the browns and shit, but you got to make sure it doesn't have shimmer, because I had bought one before, and when I was doing it, I was like, no, what's all this glitter bullshit? And my wife's like, you got the wrong one. So you got to get one without shimmer. But I mean, yeah, for customs, for dio, I mean, because doing like washes and kind of spatter, or if you use airbrush, I mean, those are all like layered effects. But I feel like powdered pigment, because I started using it, like I use it all the time. I use it on customs now. I use it on props, and it gives it that extra like layered, and especially like you see a lot of the guys doing like the big name miniature kind of guys, like I see on Instagram, they're always using powdered pigment. And the first person that told me to do it was Michael Wisman. He was telling me about it, and at first I didn't really grasp the concept, even though it's just basically just brushing on like makeup. I don't know why I didn't understand. I was like, oh, I don't know about that, man. And then I seen one of these guys do it, and I'm like, oh, that's what he's talking about. And so I was like, I ran out and I was like, man, this shit's a game changer that I feel like a lot of people don't really do.
Yeah, because I remember on the figures, yeah, because you could do a wash and it's still, you're not gonna get that effect as a powdered pigment.
Yeah.
And the powdered pigment made it look so dirty, and I was like, God, that looks so like good. I haven't used it on any dios yet. I might use it. You know, I'll probably try it out on the one they're doing for Smash Lab, just to see, you know, how it goes. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like that would probably be good. Maybe for like the bottom of the building, you know, for like the like beat up dirt, for the build up dirt, you know, on the bottom, like right where the building meets the street, maybe.
Yeah, because all those spots, I mean, if you think about it, like if you were to actually like even like walk through like say a workspace or something, and you see like you have a white door, but around the door handle and around the frame, it's all, I mean, if you look closely, you can see it's like if you got a magic eraser and wiped it, you'd see it's dirty, or like at a light switch or something where someone's constantly touching. And it's kind of hard to do that with like paint or like airbrush, because it's coming out as like paint or like watered down paint, so it's gonna have like a stain. But I mean, that powdered pigment would kind of give you like just that little detail that you really maybe might not notice, but like if you were to look, it's just an extra layer.
Oh, Star Marvel is using it on my current Dio collab. Is that the one? with Snez. I think he's doing a collab. I remember you were doing.
Oh, sick, Steven. Yes, I love Steven's work, dude. He's sick. I've been a fan of Steven since like from the beginning. Does some really cool stuff, man.
They're doing a collab, so I think that's gonna be pretty tight.
Sick.
Man, I should do a collab with somebody. Whatever.
Hit up Smash Lab, bro.
Nobody wants it. We are already doing a collab. That's why I'm making the diorama.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say he's got the tools, bro.
Dude, he got all the tools.
He's got hella tools over there.
Oh yeah. So one day I'm gonna go over there so I can play with all his tools.
Do it, bro.
Not the ones you guys are thinking of. It's a family show.
No, he's got those too.
Listen to X, your name here. Hunker Mike, DMC collab. Perhaps. Maybe we'll make props together. We will
do it, bro.
Or maybe we'll be in Wizard magazine together.
Yeah. For sure.
That one's coming. Is that one already over? Or is that
So they're in the process of doing like the editing and putting, because I mean it's a huge book. I mean it's like 250 pages. It's a big boy. So I mean you got a lot of people doing stuff, and I did, like I said, I did another fucking around with figures, all Ninja Turtle edition. I got like a couple ads, I think, and then you know, there's, I mean, they even do a price guide. They even do like a community price guide, because I mean a lot of the dudes in the community are comic book artists, and they have their books that you can get like through them, or I'm sure a lot of guys have them, you know, that you could buy, like probably order somehow at your local comic shop or just hit them up. So they have kind of like a price guide, and then some of like what's called the kayfabe effect books, just like random stuff that Ed and Jim will shine light on. And it's like these books get scooped up so quick. Like there's this book called Dragon Chang, and it's like a total like old school like duo shade zipatone like heavy like outlaw kind of book, and it's just like some random like dollar bin book that was an oversight, but like it's actually kind of like a diamond in the rough. Like it looks so cool. And I think it's Tim Truman, could be wrong on that. And then but even that book, and then like after they shine light on that, I mean eBay prices are like skyrocketing. So I mean some of these books they shine light on kind of has some like speculator kind of thing where everybody like scoops it up right away. Even like they showed the Tick, they were showing some like old school like Tick comics. Those shits like skyrocketed.
God dang.
It's kind of funny.
Nobody buying Tick anymore.
Hey man, those old school Tick comics are sick, bro.
I wanted to get on that, but dude, I had like no idea what to do. I like kept thinking, I was like, what could I do? And I was like, I have no clue what. I have no imagination. I'm like, I was like, what could I do? And I'm like, fuck. Oh, I didn't contribute. And
I
then,
mean, people are doing, I mean, even just like a pinup page, or it's basically whatever you got in the bank.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. Is probably maybe do a couple of pinup pages just so I have them.
Yeah.
Bam. Because they're doing another book. They're doing like Darkest Image, but somehow I didn't see the post, and like they're almost like done like putting it together or something like that, or they're getting everybody's pages, and I was like, oh shit, like I would have wanted to do that, but I guess I'm like too late, so I'm like, I'll pass on it. Maybe I'm sure they'll have another one. You know?
Yeah, that page is super active, bro. There's a lot of, I missed so much stuff because I mean there's a lot of activity. I mean, bunch of hardcore comic fans, bro.
That's what's nice is that, like I said before, it's like about like the comics, it's not Marvel. So all you MCU fans probably not gonna want to be in that group. You know, I'm like, it's actually talking about comics. I was like, man, I have so many obscure comics. I'm like, I wish I could find them and like post them and be like, hey, you guys know this one? Hey, you guys know this one? I just thought of, I have this one got so long ago. I think it's called Damage, and it's like a Crow ripoff.
Oh, sick!
It's like a Crow, but instead of the makeup, it's like a Joker makeup though. It's like a clown face. He has a red spot on his nose and like a red smile, kind of like the Joker smile, but he looks like the Crow.
That's rad.
You know? And it's almost just like it. I don't remember the story. I just remember like he just like kills a bunch of people. Like, I don't know, he's like getting revenge or something like that. And I was just like, I got it and I was like, what is this? Because I had it was at, I think it was SDCC one year. You know how you go down Artist Alley and everybody's like pimping their books.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, sir, hey, check out this, hey. And you're always going like, oh, I don't want to.
That's rough, bro.
But one guy's like, hey, bro, like check out my book, like blah blah. And I think it was him and his brother that were doing it. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. He actually drew a sketch on the cover if I can sign it. He's like, here you go, bro. And I was like, oh shit, all right. So that's what's nice. So when people do that, like they're trying to promote their book, and they're like, yeah, dude, he's a free sketched on the book. Here you go, bro. I think that was like the only issue I bought, but but it's still, it's cool.
I have a similar story with a shitty outcome though. I was going down Artist Alley and everybody's kind of doing their thing, and this dude begged, I'll do a sketch, whatever you want. And he's begging me to come over. And so I was like, and his book kind of looked cool. It looked like a ripoff of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
Okay.
And I'm like, I like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. I like Johnny Vasquez. I was like, all right, bro. I mean, this looks a little. It was about like a younger serial killer dude or something. I'm like, all right, I'll hear your sales pitch. And he's like, I'll draw you whatever you want, whatever. And so then he's talking, he's pitching the book as he's drawing, and he drew me a stick figure, bro. So he wasn't even the artist. He was like the writer, or like I think he might have been the writer, or like maybe not even the writer. Like he was part of like the concept of the character or something. But then he like basically like wouldn't let me leave until I bought the book. So I just bought it.
How much? Like $5-10, something like that.
Yeah, it was like $10. I was like, whatever. But I was like so kind of like, what the fuck, man? That I didn't even look at the book for a while. I just stuck it on my shelf with all my other trades, and I'm like, because it was like a little trade. And I just stuck it. I was like, man, that shit was fucking. That guy was the worst, bro. He came on way hard, and then like there's other people around looking, like the other people, like, oh, he got you, bro.
Yep.
Like I felt like I got fucking duped.
Like when they come on too strong like that, that's when I'm just like, do. I start speed walking. Yeah. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, don't come on. Hey, what's up, guys? And I'm like, settle down, bro. Like, I know you're trying to sell your shit, but like, let's come at this a different way. Like,
and I feel bad because I'm like, dude, this is guys like he's been working on this shit for probably a year. Cool. I mean, there's so much that goes into this, so I got to respect that. But then again, like I'm good, bro. Like I try to like toe the line between respectful and like get the fuck out of here. But
that's what I feel bad too. Is I walk away, and then you're like,
I know, I feel bad, dude, because
this guy like worked on this. He like drew it because when you've done it.
Yeah,
you really respect it more. You understand the process, because I've done pages like for myself, to try to get a job in comics. I've done pages, so you understand like how long it fucking takes to actually draw a page, and then if you're gonna ink on top of that, and then you're gonna color on top of that, like that takes a long time.
That's like months of work. Like if you're doing quality work or like putting your heart on that takes months, bro. And yeah, I feel bad, but sometimes
like a page would take sometimes like a day to draw a page. Like if you're really like trying to get in all those details, and you're it's a lot of work. Some people just don't understand that, and so it's like you kind of want to be like, hey, get the fuck out of my face, but then you're like, but I feel bad because you're like you're trying to pimp your stuff, and I know you took a long time to work on it, And a lot of it, you're not even getting paid for because you're doing all that work and you're not getting paid.
Yeah, so it's like you put all that money up front, or you maybe had like someone help you, but then now you have to pimp out your shit. You have to go to the cons. You have to, do the cycle, do the all that shit, promotion all yourself to get your book. I mean, especially, you're not going through a publisher. You have X amount printed, and you're just hoping that it catches. And then shout out to Michael Wisman since he's in the chat. When we go to cons, I've been to cons with him. He gives everybody. He'll listen to every dude's pitch. He's the nicest fucking dude. He'll chat him up, dude. We're the point where the artist dude's like, all right, bro. So shout out to Michael for having fucking being the kindest fucking dude ever.
No, that's awesome. That's good because sometimes you just need that one person. At least like you're having that shitty day at the con. And you're like, on my book. No one's even looking at me.
Yeah.
But at least, you got that one guy. At least it kind of like keeps you moving. Keeps you motivated. You're like, all right. Sometimes it's just that one person.
Yeah, for sure.
There's sometimes like the ones that kind of bug me are the ones that are like suits, and I'm like, I was like, bro, why you have to con in the suit? Like, I understand you're selling stuff, but don't come off like a used car salesman with your suit and your tie, and you're like, hey, you want to buy my book? No, I don't want to buy your book. It's like you're coming off kind of weird to me right now, you know? Dressed like everybody else here, like in a smelly t-shirt and shorts. Like, come on.
Eating freaking Chinese food, bro.
Yeah.
Freaking yeah, luckily I mean if you do it right though, like social media does like a lot of that work for you. Like I can only imagine back in the day, you know, before social early 90s, all that stuff where you're just relying on like going town to town or con to con. Just I could only imagine how gnarly that is.
Like I always tell everybody, like it is so easy, but it's still hard, but nowadays it's so easy to like show your work and to kind of like get noticed, even though there's so many people out now, you know, trying to get noticed.
Yeah.
But still, even you could have a small fan base of, you know, say 20 people, but it's so easy to share your work now. Before, when I, you know, was trying to do comics and I was drawing and stuff, you know, I didn't know nobody. There's no internet, or internet was just starting. Like the information I would get, you know, how to draw a page, dude, that's like getting like a little snippet in like a wizard, or a snippet in this book. Like I have tons and tons of drawing books and how to get in the business of comics and how to draw pages and how to do layouts, because there was like no information to find other than these kind of like magazines or books. Now I could just fucking Google it and be like, oh, how to break into the comic book business, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's so easy now. So like that's why I'm trying to tell myself and tell other people, dude, just throw your shit out there and see what happens. You know what I mean? Now it's so easy to get somebody to notice you.
Yeah, I think about like actually using magazines to learn shit, like Toy Fair. Like this is what's coming out, like sick, or like this is what's out there right now, or like kind of that stuff. Like that's like a trip thinking like, because nowadays, dude, I open up Instagram and you see leaks, or this is what's coming out, or this, and so it's like every day you get to look. But like I remember like waiting for that new Toy Fair and like seeing like, oh man, I can't wait till that shit comes out, or like just going into a store like Suncoast or like Toys R Us, or like going blindly and then like coming across something like super cool.
Yeah, like the first time I saw Marvel Legends like at Toys R Us, yeah, I almost pissed my pants. I almost pissed my pants. I looked at it. I was like, "What is this? What is this?" Like,
do you remember your first Legend?
Well, the first I had bought, you know, the Spider-Man classics, which were like kind of precursors to Marvel Legends. Yeah. So I still feel like they're Marvel Legends. But the Marvel Legends, I found the whole wave at the first wave at Toys R Us, which was Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, and Toad. So I scooped them up all in one shot. But I was, you know, walking through the aisles, you know, and then I was like, I think Captain America was like probably like I think the first one that I saw, and I was like, what is this? He can how many points of articulation? You know, and then back then, you know, that sculpting was like superior, you know, like that sculpting.
Nothing was like that, bro, because we're coming off like 90s where it was just like just your static 5 points in like the weird pose and like a gripping hand for like a weapon or whatever.
Yep. And I was just like, I was like hooked ever that day. I was hooked. You know what I mean? I was just like, wow. And then that made my love for Marvel Legends, like 6-inch scale is like my scale now. Like it's hard for me to deviate from 6-inch scale, because I think getting those Legends integrated in my mind, like all you can do is 6-inch. That's the line. No little 3 3/4, no nothing. Yeah. It's just fucking 6-inch from now on. Yeah.
I think Daredevil was the first one I got, because I think that was the only one they had, and I'm like, this thing's fucking sick.
That was like I think that was series 2.
That's classics.
Yeah, I think that was series 2.
And then I can't remember exactly which one I got first, but I remember my first 3 were the movie Spider-Man, the super articulated one, Daredevil, and then I think it was a Spider-Man with the McFarlane cover, like the white one. that came with the base.
Okay.
Oh no, it was the one that came with the balcony.
Okay.
The billboard, the little billboard.
I think that was retro. I think that was like a retro Spider-Man, like the classic. Like,
So yeah, the one that came with the little tiny billboard with like J. Jonah Jameson with the cobwebs on his like eyebrows or whatever, and then the Daredevil, and then from the Spider-Man movie.
Like I think I lucked out, and like all those first series, I think I scooped them up all in one shot.
Damn.
That's better than like Toys R Us used to actually kind of like stock stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then plus collecting wasn't that heavy. Like when they first came out, like collecting wasn't like super heavy. So I think it was easier to find. And then because I remember the 90s, like those 90s X-Men's, they were always playing, they always had tons like on the shelf. So like Toys R Us was still like stocking like, you know, pretty good. So it was a little bit easier to find figures back then.
For sure.
You know, Stormrun wants he wants to know what you come up with. What's up, guys and ladies?
I don't even know. I feel like, well, that was something like me and my friends would always do. Say like, what's up? Like always add a shwa. Like I don't know.
I feel that's like an amalgamation of Val Venus.
And then and ladies. So that was like something that I think because I was like, oh man, I just don't want to greet just like my male audience. I got to greet everybody. I don't want to be, but and then I think I think I just said that just being stupid, like on my first video or like one of my first videos, and then later on I was like, wait, that's like a total Val Venus thing. Like what the heck?
But still,
I don't know. It was just I don't know. I don't even know. Like I'm trying to think. I don't even know. Like if I just was just on the cuff, just like that was like my intro.
Dude, that's a dope catchphrase though. That's your catchphrase now because everybody likes it now.
Yeah. I only had one person say ditch that shit. He's like, I love your content, but ditch that intro. I was like, you're the only one, but everybody loves that shit. I would have ditched it a while ago.
Fucking hater. Damn hater. And Smash Up wants to know for hype for the Matrix trailer tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe. I
don't know. I mean, I'll watch the movie. Keanu Reeves is cool, and like I like the Matrix, but
like I'll probably watch it, yeah. But I'm like, it's been out of my head for like so many, you know, since like part 3. Like, it's like,
I don't know. I don't really get too high. I'm trying to think of the last movie I got like super, super excited for. I don't even know.
Yeah, like
movies are cool. I mean, I'm a huge movie guy. I love movies, but like I don't know if I don't really get too excited for movies right now.
No, like no, I love movies too, and I just don't. I don't know. I think it's because there's just so much stuff out there, and like your interest is all over the place. It's hard to get like excited for stuff because then you see the trailers, you see the sneak peek, you see this. You're like, oh, check out the fucking costume guy, and all this and that. It's like you see everything before the movie comes out, so you're just like, oh, okay, cool, the movie comes out.
I think the movies I get most excited for, are like I'm trying to think like what I really like Wes Anderson films.
Okay.
And I usually like when he drops a new one, I usually get really excited for those because I know it's a movie that it's like it's gonna be a movie that I rewatch all the time, or like depending on what it is, like the last one, like Isle of Dogs. That's like one that my son really likes, and it's stop motion. It's kind of like it's one of those movies that I'm like, all right, I could watch this shit because you know kids they watch the same damn movies all the time. Like this is one I could watch every day and try to to find new stuff and focus on different stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It's always usually has like a really good cast. I don't know. But other than that, I don't know. I love movies though.
Like the last movie I probably got excited for was probably Endgame, just because, you know, it was just a payoff to everything. And then I knew, you knew everybody was going to be together. That was probably like the only movie that I've been excited for, like really in a long time. Well, I was excited for Fast 9. Like I don't care.
Fast and the Furious?
Yeah, like I don't care what people say. Okay, I like Fast and Furious. Like I don't care. Like I'm a fucking fan. All right, it's all about family with those movies. All right. But when I saw that trash, I was just like, dude, it hurt me in my heart. That's how bad it was.
I think I might have seen the first Fast and the Furious maybe like one time, like when it came out or like on TV when I lived with my parents. But I don't know, man. I'm not really into cars like that. Everybody thinks I am because I work on cars, but I'm like, nah, bro. That's just like how I get paid.
Like, to me, they're just fun movies to watch. You know what I mean? Like, I'll show them on TV, and I'll just like, if there's nothing on, like, I'll just put it, I'll watch it, you know, or for background music, for noise or whatever. But dude, I can watch that all day. Like.
But then I can't hate on it because I watch trash fucking movies all the time. Like the other day, I think it was yesterday. I was watching Last Action Hero.
Still, I watch that, like, stuff like that, like, all the time, like 80s movies and stuff. Like on HBO Max now, they got Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, tight. Yeah, I watched it not too long ago.
I watched it the other day. I watched part 1 and 2. Like,
nice.
three is pretty trashy. I can't do 3.
I didn't even know there was a 3.
Yeah, you don't need to watch it. But the first and the second one, dope. Like, I was watching that. Like, I love watching the older movies, you know?
Same.
When they're with their brick phones and stuff, or using a real phone, you know, from
Hell
the wall.
Yeah.
What is that?
Hell yeah.
Or there's a Blockbuster.
That's the best.
But you know, speaking of Blockbuster, I just thought of, like, aren't you a collector of VHS tapes?
Yeah, it's crazy. We went somewhere. You know, I think we just went because, you know, I haven't, because with everything going on, it's been a while. We used to go to the thrift stores like once a week. We'd make our rounds. We'd even travel like to the next city over because there's like some good ones out there. And I noticed, I was like, man, I'm starting to see less and less VHS tapes. And I'm just like, man, either like they're just throwing that shit away now, or like people are like, that's like a trend now. But yeah, I've always, like, when family members are like getting rid of shit and they got VHS tapes, like I'll always take them. Like, fuck yeah, bro. Even if it's like a trash movie, I'll take it for now, bro. And
if I would have known back then, like, I would have gave you all mine because I threw them all away.
Damn. See, but there's movies that you can't get like on DVD. I don't think, like the original Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren. That shit's only on VHS, bro. They don't have that on any streaming network. That shit's only on VHS, bro.
I might have a bootleg of that.
That movie's the shit, bro. I fuck with that movie tough.
Dude, I tell people all the time, I was like, hey, that's one of the, I'm like, believe it or not, I'm like, the movie is actually pretty good. Like, if you look at Dolph Lundgren and you look at his mannerisms and just his overall look, dude, that guy looks like a Jim Lee Punisher. Like, all he needs, like, they screwed up with not having the skull on his chest.
Yeah.
He had that on there, dude. That's the Jim Lee drawn Punisher. Like, you can't tell me it's not. Like, he looks perfect as a Punisher.
Yeah, I actually really like that movie, dude. That shit is tight, bro. I mean, a lot of people shit on it. But
I used to watch it like once a week because I had the movie, so I had to watch it like once a week. I was like, dude, this is dope. I'm like, you know,
I love that shit.
The only thing that pissed me off is because, like, I've always, like, even now, you know, is it needs to be comic. It needs to be close to the source material. So when he didn't have that skull on his chest, that's the thing that, like, makes me, like, hate on the movie. That's the only thing that makes me hate on the movie is just like he doesn't have the skull on his chest. They made the skull on the stupid knives, and I was like,
I wonder what there had to have been some reason. I wonder why.
I'm sure there was. They're probably like, oh, this movie's gonna suck, so yeah, you better not like put this.
Yeah.
Logo
We
on
saw
there.
that rubber ear Captain America bullshit.
Yeah, so yeah, we're not gonna go that route again. No, that is dope movie. You guys should see that. If you have not seen the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie, you need to see that. No, for sure. It's a classic. It's a classic.
Fuck yeah.
Star Marvel, yes. He's got a huge 80s movie collection. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I love 80s movies. I mean, that's like my go-to.
Yeah. No, for sure. Me too. Like, if there's nothing, like, if I'm just flipping through, there's nothing on, like, yeah, I just throw in like an 80s movie, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever they got.
Hell yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I was watching, like, because I used to have to fall asleep to watching something, and I've never had like cable. I've always just had DVDs or VHS tapes. So I'd put on Last Dragon like every night to go to bed, bro. That's like I I could fuck with that movie every day still. Like I can't wait till my son's a little bit older where he could like want to watch that movie. Cause I'm like, dude, we're watching this shit all the fucking time.
Yeah, Bruce Leroy. That's a dope movie.
Yeah,
like,
I love Last Dragon.
Like the other day too. Like I just watched. Last week. I just watched The Warriors. Like that's still a good movie.
Hell yeah.
You know. I was like, they don't make them like this anymore.
I know some of those movies too. When I found out about them, was either just like digging around at like the rental store, either like at the box, like the big box, like Blockbuster, or we had this one called Movies to Go, and it was all rentals were $1. You didn't have to have a membership fee. They just fucking photocopied your license or whatever. And it was like all rentals were $1. So it was like this little mom and pop. And so like, I mean, I would just dig around and find random stuff. Like I remember hearing about the Warriors, and I'm like, dude, I have to watch this movie. Like this shit sounds sick. Like I don't even remember how I heard about it. And I remember I was like, and then I was, I think my uncle he had said this when I was younger. Cause like, I don't even really remember how much it was to rent like a VHS tape back in the day, but I'm sure maybe it was like $5 or something.
Maybe.
But he was always like, why am I going to rent it when I could just buy it? So I kind of like adapted that motto once I started like making my own money, when I was just like, I'm just going to buy it. But it was like, I would buy stuff that like every paycheck, I would buy like a couple movies. And then always VHS tapes, like at the thrift store, those were always like abundant, and they're always like super cheap. Like some places would do like 4 for $1, or just like 50 cents each, $1 each, or whatever. So like I have like hella movies.
Oh yeah. I was like, you know what I like about those 80 movies too, is the artwork.
Yes.
Like all those posters were most like all painted, or mostly like all handmade.
Yeah.
They were so dope. There's so many, like even though the movie like was trash, like,
Yeah.
it would have like a dope poster.
Yeah. Like I can't remember the dude's name, but he's like a famous one that he did like the Vegas Vacation, or in like the Lampoon ones, but he would do like these like crazy covers for like random fucking movies.
I remember, let's see,
I can't remember his name right now.
He did stuff for comics too. Who was it? He did like the Indiana Jones posters, and he did some Star Wars posters. Who was it? Struzman. I think his last name is Struzman, something like that. And he would make a ton of movie posters, and he did like some comic book covers.
Yeah.
But yeah, his art is like fantastic. Like that old school painting, like actually painting.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, just like the movie kind of a culture like that, like what you're saying, like the movie posters and the cover, and just like, I don't know, I love that shit, bro. Maybe just because of nostalgia or whatever, and just because I like art, like different mediums of art and shit. But like that shit's just so fucking cool to me. Like it's cool. There's this one I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I follow him on Instagram.
Drew Struzman, yes. Star Wars says Drew Struzman. Yeah, that's what I was.
They I can't remember what they're called, but they sometimes they do pop-up shops at conventions where they'll make like a mini VHS store, and they have like a spot. It's basically like a little 80s movie store, like kind of museum. They'll do it at cons sometimes, and I think they have like a spot, or they had a spot where like you can go and kind of like mob around, and you have that 80s like hole in the wall VHS like rental store feel. And I was like, oh man, I've always wanted to do that. Like,
that's tight.
If I had like an extra room, like to fucking do that in my house, that shit would be so tight. Like that'd be like the coolest way to display.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah. That's like a lot of the comics that I have too would be, I would just buy them just because of the cover. So I would just
for sure.
You know, I was like, oh, that's a dope cover. That's a dope cover. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that. I wouldn't read it, but I would be like, no, I'm just getting it for the cover.
I did that. So when I was younger, I did that. So I have like so many like random issues, or just like 2 of like a 6-part, or 2 of like or 1 of a 4-part. And I've still never read it. I've just read that one book, or I've just looked at the art just because I would just snag the cover. Like we would go to like the swap meet, or like, I remember there was like this little random spot that also had comics next door. So like my dad and his friend would go in there, and I'd go in there, and I would just, grab like a couple issues just with like cool covers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I have runs of like, I don't know, it'd be like Superman,
Mhm.
I'd have like issue 200, and then it would skip to like 341, like 500. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I don't really read Superman, but that one, that's a dope cover right there. Let me just get that. You know?
It's funny because when I sift through stuff, and like sometimes now, like I'll try to remember, like, oh, I could buy that issue to kind of fill in the gap. But I always wonder when I was younger, like I would just read it and just be content. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some stories, I mean, some were smart because they'd have the thing like this could be anybody's first comic. So I mean, some comics you could just read that one issue, even though there's way more to the story or previous. You can kind of be, I guess, a little bit content, especially as like a kid or whatever. But I can't think of anything where I was like, I gotta get the next one. Actually, when I was like little dude.
Yeah. No, when
I would just go and just grab random shit all the time.
Yeah, no, I was saying like I would hardly ever finish a story arc. Like it would be like or a mini series. Like I had I remember getting it was Fantastic Four versus X-Men. And it was like a 4-part mini series, and I only got like the first 2 issues. You know what I mean? So like I would do that like all the time. But then obviously when I got older, I was like, no, I'm like, I need the whole story. But yeah, when you're smaller, it's like, oh yeah, that one issue, I'm good. Good. You know? Because you're just reading it for the fun of it. You're not like, oh, what happens next? Like you're just like, okay, there's a story. You know, I think because you're used to story like books.
I guess that makes sense.
It's always one and done. You know what I mean? So you're just like, okay, I got this one. I finished reading it. All right, on to the next one. You know.
I think when I started like really getting like that was when like Toy Fair magazine, and then once they started doing Shonen Jump. Remember I was telling you about that. So Shonen Jump was like the magazine that had like, like 4 or 6 different like little manga stories in like the stick magazine. And that's when I started kind of like, we'd go to B. Dalton or like Walden Books or something. And like, did they got that new shit? They got that new shit. And that Shonen Jump and Toy Fair. And that's when I started kind of like grasping the concept like, oh, this is coming out frequently. And if I keep getting it, I could finish the story or kind of be like up to date with shit. But that was like, maybe that's when I started becoming like 11, 12 or 13 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I think Star Marvel is gonna be like my new best friend. He's I collect anything with a McFarlane cover on it. A lot of Marvel Tales. Yeah, I remember like the Marvel Tales. I would get some of those because he was just drawing the covers for those.
Yeah,
I remember that, and like I remember back in the day is when I first started like really going to the comic shops, and I didn't really understand how comics work. I always thought that the cover artist was the interior artist.
Dude, same thing. I have a bunch of those Marvel Tales too. And I would get, and I'm like, oh, this is a McFarlane cover. And then inside's like some old ass story. I'm like, I'm all interesting. Why did this guy draw the cover? And then I was like, but then once you read it, it says like it's a reprint. Because those Marvel Tales were always like the cheap ones. They're always like super cheap. They would be like in the like quarter bins or dollar bins or whatever.
Yeah, like I have so many comics where I was like, oh, this is a dope, so and so drew it, and I opened it up like, who is this fucking new guy? I was like, obviously this guy's his first day. I was like, it's nowhere near like, what the cover artist looks like. You know what I mean? I was like, I remember that. Like, there's a few. I think there was like a run, like on Punisher or something. Like Jim Lee was drawing Punisher for a while, and then he's just started doing the covers. And I always thought, I was like, oh yeah, Jim's still on it. And then you open it, and you're like, you can't judge a book by its cover. I was like, there's so many times where I remember opening it and being so let down because usually the person who's drawing it is nowhere near at the same level as like the cover artist, and there's probably a reason for that. You know what I mean? That's why they probably use him as the cover artist, to sell the book. But you'd be so disappointed. You're like, why does it have to be this guy drawing it? Marvel Kicks says it was dope meeting you two at Frankenson's. Well, it was dope meeting you too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's always
cool.
It's always nice seeing other people that you talk to, and actually seeing them finally like face to face.
Yeah, it's always a trip. It always takes me a minute to be like, oh yeah, like we talk through messages or like you comment on my stuff, and like I was like, oh, that's such a trip. Like actually meeting the person in person or meeting someone in person. It's always a trip.
I was gonna tell Cheney because like people were saying, oh, you should make it a year thing, and I was thinking, why? Like, why make it a year thing? Like, why make it like every couple of months, like, or every 3 or 4 months? I'm like, we all live somewhat, kind of close. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So it's not like we're driving to Vegas or something. Why not do it like every couple of months?
It'd be cool.
So I was gonna tell him, I was like, you guys should like try to do this like every couple of months because just to hang out.
Well, once like Designer Con and like WonderCon, those were always kind of like the ones that if we can all kind of meet up and since those are a little bigger and stuff, I mean, I feel like it's a little easier. Frankenstein's is like, I mean, it's a good spot.
Yeah, but that parking now.
Yeah, the parking's like.
If I didn't see you in the parking lot, I probably would have left. Because I was getting so aggravated, and I was like, I've done it before where I've gone to Frankenstein's and I've turned right around and gone home because I couldn't find parking. I was like, nah, screw this. Like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I didn't see you, I was about to turn around. I was like, dude, like this is stupid. Like, I can't deal with this.
It's so hard to keep your cool, especially because we live north of LA, so we have to drive a little bit, and then we're like, we're finally fucking here, and then we're like, now we have to drive around a hot fucking car, and then like almost see a spot up, psych, and we're just like, fuck.
I can imagine too, because you drive a little way. It was like a couple hours, right?
Couple hours, yeah.
For you, and then to get there and to be like, oh, let me drive around another half an hour to try to find a parking spot.
Luckily, we got lucky because where we were parked, it didn't look like there was a spot. But I had to flip a bitch anyway because it was a dead end. And I'm like, damn it. So I was about to flip it. I'm like, oh shit, there's a spot right there. And my wife's little ass car is squeezing. So I was like, hell yes.
Oh, snap. Let's say Marvel Kicks wants to know, what are y'all's figure for the year so far? I don't know. I'm gonna say it's this guy right here. I haven't even opened it yet, but I'm gonna say it's this guy for right now.
Oh, is that the gunslinger spawn?
Yep, I'm gonna support my homie Todd and say it's that guy for right now.
On the spawn Kickstarter, did you go all hard or what?
Of course. I'm like, I had to. You know what I mean? I had to. I was like, I gotta support my boy. Yeah, dude, like I love McFarlane. Like everybody wants to like talk shit on him all the time, but no, he ain't gonna do it when I'm around. Like I don't know. I don't think people realize like Todd does whatever he wants. He does whatever he wants to do. I give him props for that because that's what he's always done. He's done it how he wants to. Which you got to respect that, because if you had your own company, you would do the figures whatever way you wanted to, too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like he's explained it before, like the reason why he doesn't like articulation and stuff, because he's an artist first and he wants it to look cool, like sitting on your shelf. So basically, a little mini statue, basically. But that's just the way he's always wanted to do it. And I think finally somebody like got into his ear and is like, hey, you might want to put a little bit of articulation in there. Like people want to do stuff with their figures. So like when I was talking to Adam Winkler, he said, it looks like McFarlane's how he does his articulation. It's like an afterthought.
Yeah.
You can tell it's not part of the design, because you can tell by the ankles and by the wrists that's like a afterthought, that they sculpted it and then they're like, oh wait, we probably should make the ankles like move or something.
Yeah.
But
I feel like he's doing more with articulation though. Like I feel like because
this is leaps and bounds to,
because I think the figure that kind of was that first spawn, like the Mortal Kombat spawn.
Dude, that was dope.
I know, that was like, that figure's so sick. I mean, I think
for McFarlane to do a figure like that,
Yeah, and I feel like after that, I mean, I don't really pick up too many McFarlane figures. I think the ones that I have is those Warhammer.
Okay.
Warhammer. So I got a bunch of the artist proof ones, which I thought was super cool. Like he's making a figure that's gray so you could paint it yourself.
Yeah.
And like I've always liked, even though like maybe some of my photography doesn't like show, but I've always like mechs and like kind of like techie kind of stuff like that. I've made a bunch of like little kit bash like mechs and stuff. But I was like, man, these figures are so cool. Or I bought a bunch to kind of build like an army, but those figures are fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, like I thought that was a cool idea. I think he was trying to do it kind of like because the Warhammer is they're miniatures. I think it's like a miniature.
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Mm.
So I think he was kind of like going that route where they have them where they make them like gray or whatever, so you can paint them. And I think that's what he kind of wanted to like throw.
I think that's the whole gimmick of Warhammer. Like you have your guys and you paint them, like you customize them yourself or whatever. I think that's like I'm not sure.
So I think that's kind of just like a nod to that. They're like, okay, I'm gonna make you ones that are painted up, but you know what? Let me throw in a couple that you can paint yourself. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a cool idea.
I know I got that Mortal Kombat spawn. I got those Warhammer figures. I don't really know what else I got from him, but yeah, I don't know. I think people just like to jump on the shit talking thing, just like with NECA. Yeah. I think because it's some people do make good points. Some people do make good points to like talk shit, and I think other people just like want to jump on without having their own opinion.
Well, most people talk shit on NECA. It's because it's Randy's fault. Like on my McFarlane's figures, like I pick and choose. There's like a couple I think are like really cool looking, like Death Metal Batman, where he's got that trench coat and he's got like spikes all over him. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's just like a cool looking figure. You know what I mean? Like, and it is based on a comic book. Makes no sense, but for a Batman to be in like a trench coat and fucking spikes all over him, but it's just a cool looking figure. So I got that. Some of them look pretty wonky. Like I have the Devastator, or it's supposed to be like Doomsday, and he's like smaller than Superman. That makes no sense. But, you know what I mean? But so yeah, there's stuff that he can improve on. But if you look at the sculpt, the paint apps, can't touch that.
Yeah, that big beefy Violator looks pretty cool. Like just like the sculpt and everything, and then like the clown looks cool. I haven't scooped him up. Maybe like those are kind of for me would be like kind of like a clearance kind of scoop, but they look super fucking cool.
Yeah, everybody that I've known that got that Violator is like in love with it. They say that it's fucking phenomenal for $50. That it's a phenomenal figure. Mm-hmm. So I was like, damn, I need to get that then. I'm hoping to I didn't want to do the pre-order thing. I just don't like doing the pre-orders because you never know when you're going to get charged. Yeah. So like I like to know when I'm going to get charged. So like once you have it, then let me pay you. So I didn't pre-order any of the other Spawn stuff versus the only one I did was that Gunslinger since it was a Target exclusive. I figure I better just pre-order it because I don't know if I'm going to see it in stores, how things are going. You can never find anything. And then hopefully maybe I can find like the other figures like the Redeemer. The Redeemer looks cool. The Raven Spawn looks pretty cool. So I'm hoping to find those like in the stores. Maybe I'll set those up.
Yeah, I've seen the for Princess Bride, bro. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that Indigo Montoya for sure.
I think those look pretty dope. Like some people,
Andre the Giant. I think it's the paint. I think the sculpt's there. I think the paint's just a little fucked up.
Because like I was looking at his face, and his face looks a little off. I think the other people, everybody else looks pretty good, except Andre's face looks a little off.
I think it's the paint. I think it's the paint. I think they went too heavy with like the dark shadows on his eyes. Because I was trying to look, and I was like, man, I feel like the sculpt's there, but I think I'm good on Andre the Giant. But for sure, Indigo Montoya, and for sure, Wesley.
Those look good. Those look good.
Indigo's sword did look a little huge though. Like I was looking at that thing looked fucking huge. It was like maybe
because McFarlane tries to give you your money's worth. That's why.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why he just wants to give you your money's worth.
But hey, man, I'm cool if he starts picking up random licenses like that. Like,
dude, that's what he used to do back in the day. He used to have like random licenses, like when he had Movie Maniacs. Like he would bring out, like Wishmaster, like. What? This guy made a Wishmaster figure.
I always look for old McFarlane figures for like fodder because they always had killer accessories and great sculpt. So it's like that recent one I made this is a McFarlane.
Yeah.
This figure right here is probably like one of the best McFarlane figures ever. So you get the sick Anubis mask, you get that sick ass skull underneath, and then like the articulation's sick. Like he's got, you know, like the older McFarlane, you'd have like one super articulated arm, the other one have a cut joint. This is like actually like evenly distributed, where he's got like single joints and swivels. It's like everything's just like equal hinges and swivels like on both sides. And then plus he came with an articulated cobra.
And what figure is that?
It's just like a, I don't remember the line, but it was just like a mummy.
What is it?
I don't remember the line though.
I'm trying to think. I remember he did his Universal Monsters. That could have been.
So, man, I can't remember the line.
He did an Egypt a spawn line based on like on Egypt, like Egyptian figures.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been that.
And then yeah, even like the barbarian stuff. Like I can't remember. He always had like names for everything, but like the barbarian ones, but they were like pre-posed, but they always had sick weapons and like screaming head sculpts and stuff. Like, I mean, the articulation's weird because it's like cut joints and you'd have like a hinge here or there. But I mean, when the KB toys, we would always scoop those up, like when they would be on clearance or whatever.
Dude, I had like so many McFarlane figures, but I sold them all. And then I'm like, and then when I, started doing ACBA and stuff, I noticed like, certain figures came with certain things. Yeah. Like, what was it? What line was it where they had, I'm trying to think. I think was it a movie Maniacs? It had like Billy the Kid and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like I had all those guys, and then you realize, oh, dude, they came with like the guns and like this and that.
I always wanted that Billy the Kid one for fodder.
Yeah, I'm like, I had all those, and I was like, oh, I wish I would have kept those. I would have like kept them for like the all the accessories. I'm like, damn. Oh well.
And I always like Frankenson too. That was like a spot like old, like when we used to go at the old location. You get the guys that have just like stacks of McFarlane stuff, and for some reason people would like overlook it just because it was like a weird figure. But I'm like, do you see all these fucking accessories, bro? Like Bob and Doug McKenzie, that's McFarlane, right?
Yeah, that's McFarlane.
Strange Brew, yeah. I bought so many of those. I probably have like 6 Bob and Doug McKenzie figures.
Damn. I remember I found them. Where did I find them at? I think it was a random shop, or it might have been Frankenstein's. No, it couldn't have been Frankenstein's. I think it was a random shop where I found the set for like $20 or $30.
Nice.
For both of them. And I was like, yeah. I was like, but I just want the accessory. I was like, I didn't tell them, like, I spent $30 just so I can get these accessories. But yeah, I was like, those are dope. Like, they had like a lot of good accessories in some of those like older figures. Even the when he did the military line, like all those guns and stuff, those look good.
Yeah. Yeah, his accessories are always on point. It just sucks because it's like harder to find those figures now, like at a decent price. At one point, I felt like I would be like, oh, I need this accessory, and I'd find the figure, and I'd be able to get it like on card or like a super damaged card or like a yellow blister or something. But now it's getting a little harder to find. I mean, you still find deals like on eBay or Mercari. You get just like rando people cleaning stuff out.
Yeah, I was like, oh. But he doesn't even make it. But it's kind of sad is that he doesn't do that anymore though. Like these newer figures, they come with like maybe one accessory.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, I'm like, I guess the articulation is taken away from the accessories.
I guess it makes sense though, because with an articulated figure, you have so many different parts to assemble. Mm-hmm. When before maybe you'd have like 7 or 8 parts to assemble, because just like you'd pop in the cut joints or whatever, and then like the little bit of fabric to glue here or there. So there'd maybe be like 10 parts to a figure. Now there's like 30, 40, whatever, because you got to think of all the pins and all the little things to make all the articulation work.
I was like, damn, see people, now you want an articulation, now you have less accessories. Nothing.
Well, it's keeping all the Dio and prop makers in business.
I know, right?
Coming full circle.
Oh, yeah, I still have, I remember I didn't get rid of any of my X-Files figures.
Oh, okay.
And so I have a bunch of those, like, little, like, kind of like cryo chambers.
Yeah.
That they had the aliens on. I have the dead bodies that are in the body, kind of like in the body bag.
Stretcher.
Yeah, with the stretcher. So I have a couple of those. I was like, oh, I'm glad I at least kept these. Like I threw the alien. I don't know. The aliens are in some fodder box or something. It was like a caveman. I have Scully and Mulder like in so thrown away somewhere.
I think I got those like in a fodder lot or something. The Mulder and Scully, and I just heat and pop the FBI or like their little laminate or whatever they had on their shirt, the little badge. I was like, I could use that. These like because those figures are like 5 inches tall or whatever. I was like, I'm never gonna use these, but I'm gonna take your little badge.
Let's see. Jens here says I felt bad at my local toy store. I needed a drum set, so I bought the Lars Ulrich from the complete Metallica set the owner had. All posed up, he was like, "You're breaking up the
band." Hell yeah, that's a good drum set right there.
I was like, "See, he had those music figures too that came with like with the guitars and everything."
Yep, the Kiss, all the Kiss figures. There's like he had a bunch of different. He came out with like a bunch of different Kiss figures, but there's one that they came with like super good like band equipment, like drum sets, bass. I remember I went with where Solid, like Anthony Solid Snake, where he lives. There's this guy that he has like 3 or 4, no, I think it's 3 storage units. And on Saturdays, he opens up the storage units and it's literally like filled to the brim, wall to wall of just toys. And he was letting stuff go for like super cheap. And he's got everything from McFarlane sports picks to like every like McFarlane figure that like ever came out. And then he's got like legends. He's got like everything. He's got like just random lines like Art Asylum stuff, just like all old school stuff. And he was letting stuff go for cheap. So I bought a bunch of like Kiss figures just for the band equipment.
Nice. I remember I had, I sold it and I should have kept it for the drum set. It was, it wasn't the Cat. It was like one of the later drummers that they added to the band. And he came with a nice drum set. It was like the 3rd series of Kiss figures that came on, because before they came on the card, like the first 2 I think series of Kiss came on a card, and then the 3rd series came on a blister, and it was that one that I had a dope drum set, and I fucking sold it. I was like, I should have kept that.
Can't get rid of those accessories, man. Even I remember back in the day, the wrestling figures. I had every fucking accessory, because what happened was when they'd get the new line in, they would put the old stuff at the end of the aisle at Target, and it would be marked down. I mean, I remember the figures were like $5 or $5 to $8 or whatever, and they would mark them down. So my mom, what she would do is throughout the year, when they would mark the wrestling figures down to like a couple bucks, she would scoop them up. So then when my birthday came around, I'd get like fucking like 40 figures, because she like throughout the year, she'd buy a couple here and there. They'd have the grapple gear, like with just the accessories, or you get like the trash can, the dumpster. And so fucking hell yeah, dude. I always remember that, getting like all these wrestling figures. And then I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But it's like my mom was smart, because we kind of like had to be with money. So she would always be like, fucking, when that shit went on clearance for a couple bucks, scoop it up here and there. That shit was tight. But then when I moved out, I got my good box of toys got fucking jacked. I got the other boxes, but my good box with all the wrestling figures, my turtles, like the good box got jacked. Because there's some kids up the street that I was giving them some like rando shit, and I think they came back.
They're like, oh, we'll take this one.
They got the good box. I didn't find out till later when I was looking for that good box.
During the Attitude Era, that's when I used to collect the WWE figures.
Hell yeah! So
I had a ton of figures, and then I was like, and then the Attitude Era was over, and I was like, oh fuck, I don't want these figures anymore. So I started selling them off, and then I was looking at eBay prices, and I was like, oh, I'm like, the accessories are like selling more than the figures, like an accessory lot or whatever. So I put a bunch of accessories together and I sold them. And then I was like, and then a year or 2 later, I got into ACBA, and I was like, what an idiot. I was like, what? I was like, I could have used all this stuff, because I had like all those figures. They had what? They came with water bottles. It came with like lunch pails. Like I kept a few things because like because I've always liked miniature stuff, but then it's like, what do you do with it? You know what I mean? Like I always liked it, but I was like, but what do you do with it? But there are some things that I thought were cool that I just kept. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep this. There was like a weight bench.
Yeah.
I kept the weight bench. I kept the coolers, like a couple of coolers, and like a couple of water bottles. I think that was like all that I kept. But I had a bunch of other stuff that I sold off, and I was like, oh.
They were coming out with literally anything. They had a hot dog cart.
Yeah.
With like the umbrella, and then you had a tray that had like a hot dog, a burger, and a drink that were like spilt over.
Yep.
It's like they were literally coming out with everything. And I was eating that shit up, especially like I was saying, I felt like they always had that, at least at my Target, they always had that shit. Like, and then it was like, I felt like it was every time I went, there was like something new, and there was like the end of the aisle was on clearance. And I was like, fuck yes. If only I knew now though, I'd been fucking.
Yeah, because like I started buying stuff a little bit later, but now I think it's harder to find. But like before, once I started getting into everything, I started searching eBay, and I got like a few of those the grapple gears.
Yeah.
For kind of cheap. Like I found a couple of sets for like $20.
Nice.
I remember I looked out and I found like the refrigerator.
Yes.
And a couple other things for cheap, like $20, and I got the refrigerator and a bunch of other stuff. Like I actually joined some wrestling groups, like wrestling toy groups on Facebook. Yeah. And dude, I bought like tons of accessories like off this guy, like twice. He just came up with he threw a bunch of accessories together, and he was like, oh, $20. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that.
Fuck yeah.
So I got a ton of stuff off of them. Just like half of the stuff I don't use, they were just like, those rubber t-shirts. Those are kind of like those are lame. But then there would be like sledgehammers, like bolt cutters, like a
crusty mattress.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't have is that crusty mattress that I've been wanting to get that.
At one point, I had wanted that crusty mattress, so I had found this dude on eBay that he had a bunch of different lots, and he was selling them for a decent price. It was $35, but you got a couple big items like the hot dog cart and a refrigerator and like another big item, and then plus a shitload of little accessories, and then like figures. And so I was like, man, do I want the hot dog cart? It was like it was like I was fighting between two different lots. I'm like, oh, I want this one because of the hot dog cart, because I actually made the hot dog cart into like a Paletero Man cart.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, I need that. I was like, I want that mattress. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make my own. So I had made like a run. I think when I did one of my prop sales, I had made a bunch of those scummy mattresses, and I put like stained them up, used powdered pigment. I made them look so hag.
Oh yeah.
I was actually looking. I sold them all, man. Because I was doing a shot. And I'm like, oh, that scum mattress, dude. And I was like, damn, I sold them all. I was like, I didn't even leave them for myself. I got to make another run of those.
Mattress in your arsenal. I always have to have one.
They even had a dog with the doghouse, and like came with like a tire, a dog in a doghouse. Like I had the doghouse. I think it came in one of those lots, but I'm like, dude, they came with some random ass shit, man.
Yeah, it's just so random. Yeah, like the tire. Sometimes there was like a car door. It was just like a car door. You know what I mean? I was like, what? Why is there a car door?
That's
the worst accessory though is that what was it? It's like it's not even a pallet. It's just it looks like a piece of wood, like 5 pieces of wood together, and then like there's like a rat on it and like wheels on them.
Yeah.
I was like, what is it? I was like, this is like the worst accessory. I was like, I don't even know what this is. Like there's wheels on it, but then like what the hell is it?
Yeah. That shit was weird.
Yeah, that was like that's the only accessory I was like, why? Like why? Everything else is cool, but this makes no sense.
Did you ever go to like a live wrestling event? Like any WWF?
Yeah. I went to I think was it 2? Might have been 2 of them. I remember it was at Staples. It was Staples Center. and yeah, I was during Attitude Era, so saw the
Sick.
Rock. So I saw the Rock, you know,
Fuck.
Stone Cold. Dude, the next day, dude, I lost my voice from like screaming like so hard. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Once, I went twice because one, I was kind of like on that rows right before, like, you know, there's the floor,
Mm-hmm.
there's, you know, seats around the ring on the floor, and then it starts going up. So I was kind of low. I was almost like eye level to the ring.
Oh, nice.
But a ways back. but a ways back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then the second time I went, I was kind of like towards the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I remember the next day, I couldn't even talk. I was like, my voice is so, just from like screaming, you know, just going crazy. Because back then, you know, everybody's going crazy, screaming, and you're telling everybody, hey, screw you, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was good. Oh, man, it was good times.
Did you make a sign or not?
Yeah, we had one, the first time I didn't it, but the second time I went with a buddy who worked like at a sign shop.
Oh shit.
So we made like professional like signs, like show me your puppies.
Yeah.
We had those, and we were just like the whole time, like, show me your puppies. And it looked so pro, like so pro, because he worked at a sign shop, you know?
Yeah.
Next day, he's like, hey, dude, I think my boss is pissed because I used all this material to like make signs that we threw away later. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, well, whatever.
That's one thing I wish I would have done, or I was able to do when I was younger, is go to like a wrestling match in the Attitude Era. Because I was hardcore into that, bro. Watching that shit.
Oh, yeah, that was my favorite. That's why like I remember, like, you know, the classics, you know, Hogan and everybody, but I think Attitude was like, that's it for me. That was like my favorite. That's like it, like the best era ever.
Yeah. Yeah, because I like classics too. Like I have a bunch of wrestling like VHS tapes and DVDs that like I'll revisit, or I have friends that are like my wife's brother, like people that like wrestling when they're younger, and they're like, oh, like show me some stuff. So I was like, oh, you want to see some stuff? So I'll pull out like, a couple of different matches, you know. But yeah, I like the classics. Like I was like big on Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate
Warrior.
Warrior.
Yeah, I actually got to meet Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, sweet.
It was like a year, I think, before he passed away. It was so random. We were at a record shop, and I happened to be buying a wrestling album. It was the one that I can't remember what it's called, but it's got that fucking Pile Driver song. It's like the only wrestling, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's got like all the wrestlers in the cover in the studio. It's got like Coco Beware and like, I can't remember what it's called. It's like wrestling the album or something, but it's like the one that WWF put out. And the dude was busting up at the record counter that I was buying it. And he called one of the dudes over. He's like, he's buying it, bro. He's buying the album. It was only like $5. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Like, why not? Like, I collect vinyl too. And he's like, do you like Ultimate Warrior? I was like, him and Macho Man are my favorite wrestlers from that era. And he's like, you know, he's doing a signing. It's like a low key, like kind of like last minute. I'm not sure if it was last minute. It was like a low key thing in Hollywood. It was like at this like, I think it was called like Soundwave or Sound Studio or something. It was like this place that a hole in the wall spot that's probably as big as like a living room. And they sold like expensive ass t-shirts, but they had him there doing a signing. And like he's doing it tomorrow. And I'm like, shit. And I was like, it was in Hollywood. I was like, fuck it, dude. I'm calling in sick to work. We're fucking going. Waited outside for like ever. And I got to meet him. It was like the coolest fucking thing. He had the face paint on. He had the sick airbrush jacket, the tassels. And he was just like tripping out. He's like, dude, you're too young. And he's like, you're too young to know who I am. Like, what are you doing here? And I was just geeking out on him and stuff. And he was all stoked that like me and my wife were like big fans and stuff, and got to take pictures with them. And he had a bunch of swag. Like he had basketball shorts with like he had like all kinds of shit with his logos on it. So I bought these sick basketball shorts that when I was playing like City League basketball, I'd wear them all the time. People would be tripping out. But that was like the coolest fucking thing. Like I was like in awe. It's like seeing someone like when I was younger, like fucking, I mean, we were like almost the same height, but he's like so huge. He was so jacked still. I mean, he stayed jacked till like he passed away, but he was fucking just shred.
Like the only person I ever see all the time at like SDCC, fucking Virgil.
Poor fucking Virgil, bro.
And those like memes are true because he'd be sitting there by himself, dude. Like I'd walk past like all the time because it'd be like on the top mezzanine, and there's people like signing and shit. And you're always walking by there because sometimes you have to go from this side of the convention to the other side or whatever. And you're just walking by, and poor guy's like, nobody had to tell him. I was like, poor Virgil.
Poor Virgil, man.
We met me and my buddy when we had gone to what con was it? It was like Kamikaze or I don't know, whatever. One of the local ones, and we saw the $1 Million Man was there.
Oh dang!
So we chopped it up with the $1 Million Man a little bit.
That's sick.
He had the belt with them too.
Dang, that's sick.
He had the belt with them.
We used to go to the local wrestling promotion in our city, and they'd pull some guys. Like they had Papa Shango. He came out as Papa Shango, and then he also came out as the Godfather, which was sick. And he had like this hoe train and everything. It was sick. And I totally I wanted to take a picture with him, but I totally like pussed out. It was kind of like the venue was a little weird. He was doing like meet and greets and stuff, but the venue was kind of weird where I was kind of over it at the end. But I saw Matt Hardy a couple of times like wrestle. This was like before he had his like resurgence, like where he got all popular again. Got to see him wrestle a couple times, do like a ladder match with like one of the local guys. Like one of the local guys, his gimmick is the Rock of Love Bret Hart, but he's like overweight, but he still pretends that he's not. It's so funny. But so he was like the top guy, and Matt Hardy beat the shit out of him, and it was a ladder / haircut match. So he like cut his fucking ponytail off and stuff.
That's tight.
But I love going to the rest of even just the local ones. They're fun just to like drink and get rowdy. And it's funny, some people be timid around you, and you just start going, like you're saying, yelling and just talking shit. I was like, you're supposed to talk shit, bro. If you're not talking shit, these guys like,
hey, what are you there?
They need you to talk shit.
Yeah, because that's how it gets them going. Like gets them in like the persona and everything. Like they don't want to go out to like a crowd that's just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you got it. They want something in it.
When those heels come out, bro, you gotta fucking boo them.
Yeah, start flipping them off. They love that. They love that. They get off on it because then they know they're doing their job right. Because if they're not, if they don't get that, then they're like, oh, dude, I did like a shitty job tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny too. Like, we haven't gone since my son's been born, but like we had friends with their kids, and I was like just showing them, like, no, dude, go crazy, boo these guys, yell at them. You hate these guys, and getting little kids all rowdy, and it's so fun. I love it, bro. That's
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, damn, we're already at 2 hours.
Oh wow.
Whew. I think we're gonna wrap it up. I gotta go to work tomorrow, unfortunately. Yeah. You gotta work tomorrow?
Yeah, I work.
Yeah.
I can smell something good cooking in the kitchen, bro, waiting for me.
Oh, sweet. All right, then yeah, for sure we're gonna wrap this up then. So before we wrap it up, now where can we catch you again if we want to look at all your props?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's punker_Mike. I post toy photography, props, dios, customs, basically stuff I'm working on. So you could catch me there. And then you can check out my YouTube channel. It's just Punker Mike. I got videos like showcasing my customs, props. I have a bunch of like kind of behind the scenes, kind of vlog style videos. I have a handful of those. And I definitely got more stuff coming down. So just be patient and keep reaching out. If you have any ideas, if props or stuff you want me to make, give me some ideas, and maybe I'll feel a little motivated and make another action figure prop shop video.
Oh yeah, that's what we want. That's what the people want, is the prop shop. And then one more thing before we go, make sure to like and subscribe, because the DMC needs all the help he can get. You can catch me at _DMC on Instagram. Of course, you're already here on the YouTubes. Or you can check me out at DMC Studios on Facebook. I also post dioramas and weird shit on there too. But one more thing before we go. The reason why Punker Mike is an amazing friend is because of his creative genius. The DMC only surrounds himself with the most creative of the creatives. And Punker Mike is above all of us with his creativeness. I just love those damn commercials, though.
I know. I want to do. I have so many more like scripts that I've written out and stuff.
So make sure if you're not following Mike, you need to do it right away. If you are a prop or diorama or art enthusiast, definitely check him out. And that's it. So thank you for everybody for joining today. Thank you, Omar. I think it was a great stream tonight. We definitely had fun tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we need to do this again.
Definitely.
It was good. It was a good time.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
And that's it. So again, thank you everybody. And we'll see you next time. Peace.